Mojang dropped some heavy hints we'd be getting a copper update, and now we have this mob vote loser, isn't he great? Then they hinted we might be getting another darkness/light related feature, and although the glare seems like the logical creature, a fresh data mine suggests that if we're getting another mob vote loser, it's actually more likely to be the crab. This is Minecraft Bits, a series where I cover lots of topics that could have been their full-own videos, but there's lots of them to cover and they all relate to Drop Tree 2025, so why not get it all in one place? That's the goal today, and subscribe if you want to see more of this, by the way. But let's start with the mob vote losers, because the mob vote ran from 2017 to 2023, and it was cancelled after a huge community backlash, because although Mojang always said the idea was you're voting on the mob to be added first, with the mob vote losers coming at some point in the future, up until that point, and up until this drop, we've only ever seen one be added to the game, and it's the frog through the swamp biome. And so the 2023 mob vote had the armadillo coming in first, but the crab and penguin were not that far behind, and so many in the community saw this as a waste of two perfectly good ideas, although to those people I'd say, okay, 2024 and 2025, have we gotten 3 mobs a year, or is that not how that worked in the slightest? But anyway, now it seems as though Mojang is looking to do good by coming back for what is clearly one of their most popular losing vote options ever, which was the copper golem. This guy was so cute, and he didn't lose by the widest of margins, which is why him coming into the game and actually having a better purpose is great. This is something I can't talk enough about. They didn't just add a mob vote loser in the initial form, but they actually made him even better, and honestly I think he's the best golem because he's so accessible and comes with a chest, which is an incredible feature all by itself. However, the fact that they're now coming back for one has many people thinking they're clearly going to add another one, and although I do see the hints for the glare are here, this is a WhatsApp teaser they shared where it's oddly bright, and this is Lady Agnes being in a cave saying,
Did we place any torches on our way here?
I don't think that this hint gives us enough to be sure of anything. Maybe some form of light source in general, you could say at a stretch, but keep in mind that this is clearly going to be a cave-themed drop, and we've only seen copper-related features so far, and so it could either be a hint at one of those other things coming, or it could literally just be a fun thing that Lady Agnes said in a video. It's not impossible that it's hinting towards nothing, and if they were going to be adding another mob vote loser, the glare is one of the least popular losers we've ever had. I mean, poor Glare, his parents really wanted him to get into block sorting, but he had to follow his passion of cave illumination, and now both the other block sorters were chosen above him. But more seriously, I think that the only arguments we have in favor of the glare are the fact that Mojang explicitly wrote in the description of that video about the blueberries and how they were debunked, and so is it likely, therefore, that we're getting the glare? I don't think so. I think the rascal would make more sense. I think the tough golem could make more sense. You know, 2 golems, 1 update. And I also think that if we're making a stretch anyway, then maybe the crab would make more sense. Yes, pun intended. But more seriously, I think that if we look at the recent data mines from Drop Free 2025, we get some very interesting clues here. So this is Smokey Stack. What he does is he looks into the publicly available data of the drops, and Drop Free 2025 is what Minecraft calls it in the game, and so if you look into the metadata behind that option, you can see that it says it's the experimental behavior pack for full Drop 2025 content. This is huge by itself because it's already telling us that yes, Minecraft is going to be releasing their next drop in full. We've seen that Minecraft have got a 3-month release cycle, but they've never publicly confirmed that they want to have one every 3 months, and so it looks as though this update will be coming out in full. When is full? Well, if you aren't American, full is a fun word they use over there to describe autumn, and autumn begins in the meteorological calendar in September and ends in November. In the astronomical calendar, where it's marked by the autumnal equinox, it actually occurs around the 22nd of September, but keep in mind that the summer drop didn't come out in the summer under that definition because it came out before the 22nd of June, and so Mojang clearly used the meteorological definition, which means it's coming somewhere between September and November. We heavily would expect September based on the 3-month cycle so far, but boom, we have a release date for a drop with all the copper. Isn't that great? Well, it's a 3-month release window, and we also kind of knew it already, but isn't it great to see that confirmed? Okay, you know what? I guess maybe it's not, but you know what is exciting? The second data mine that we have from Smokey Stack right here, and as you can see, it's the description that you get for Drop Free 2025 from Mojang in the game files, which is that it's a drop that will improve your item management with the new Copper Golem and improved item switching in the 3rd game drop of 2025. So obviously the Copper Golem and the 3rd game drop bit is what we already know, but the improved item switching hasn't tracked with any of the features we've seen so far. It very much seems as though improved item switching is going to be one of the goals, and so either that is a description of how the chests work, you know, you can sort through chests with the copper golems, or if you don't mind making a little bit of a stretch, and I want to believe in this so bad that I'm totally willing to, it could be a sign they're willing to add improved item sorting, because right now you can move around your inventory using the number keys, just like on Java, on Bedrock, but what you can't do is move items to your offhand. I can't take that shield out of my offhand without manually coming in here and moving it into my very cluttered inventory, and I can't move it back without shift-clicking it in or out. This is a bit of a nightmare, and it's something that could be easily fixed by adding the hotkey, or the option to press the F key, like on Java, to immediately switch between my two hands. What if offhand functionality, in at least some improved form, is coming in this update? Or what if instead we think about the crab claw, which originally was meant to allow you to extend your reach so you could mine blocks that were slightly further away? What if instead of just being a reach extender, it was an item sorter of some form in general? What if it could extend, what if it could indeed improve your item switching behavior? Well, that would be an argument for another mob vote loser, if you want to believe that one is coming anyway. If you don't want to believe that, well, that's quite reasonable actually. Since I think the mantra of keeping your expectations tiny so you don't become whiny is especially important in the Minecraft space, and where better to prove that than with the blue Blueberries. These were featured in Minecraft's Copper Golem reveal, and they were confirmed in the description to be a miscolored Blueberry. They say whoops, although we have been known to sneak secrets into our videos, this is an actual mistake and doesn't hint at anything. We are working on game drops packed with new features, but recolored Blueberries isn't one of them. Apologies to fans of cave fruit. So you might read that wording and think, is Minecraft being playful? I mean, it's rare they actively deconfirm a feature, that's why we see no mention of the glare on there, but I do think that this is likely real, because we had a developer, Xylefian, confirm on their personal account here that I noticed these screenshots accidentally included a practice paintover of the Blueberries, and they suppose it's a peek behind the curtain of how artists on the team practice the Minecraft style, and I guess recoloring existing things is a fun way to practice that, but that's exactly what this is, and you can tell that this isn't like an employee just towing the company line and being coy for no reason, because they do say that they're genuinely upset about the fall of Hytale and that the industry needs more games to challenge Minecraft, which is very true, by the way, something that is important to note. But the other thing that's important to note here is actually this is not the first time Minecraft have accidentally shown something blue. After I posted my short about this, I saw this fun post from Kubon on Reddit who says this is the third time Mojang has accidentally teased a blue feature that was never intended to be added, and so the first one was 2013, a weird blue villager next to the golem. The second one was 2019 with that blue redstone, and this is the third one with these delightfully cerulean berries. Speaking of delightfully cerulean, now is the time to talk about the important question of what else has come in Minecraft's new preview, because although I glossed over it in the first video, I want to point out two very wild things. The first of these being the brand new settings menu. Now all of these options are so far apart. This is meant to be an improvement, but I find it to be quite ugly if I'm being honest. And the second of these is when you go to create a new world now, you'll have another additional Superflat option, because if you haven't played Minecraft in a while, flat worlds aren't just flat worlds on Bedrock now. We've got the flat world presets, and although I would love to see fully customized Superflats, the fact that they're still adding new features here is great, and this new one is one of the craziest survival challenges if you want to play it, and let me explain why that's the case, because it's the Void. This not only means you're in one of the most horrific biomes to be in terms of actually getting mobs to spawn, but all you have is a 16 by 16 platform of stone with a single cobblestone block in the middle, and that is all you have to survive on. As you can see, no food, nor is there a way to farm it. As you can see, no any realistic mob spawning during the day, and during the night you're still going to get your full host of hostile mobs, making this an absolute nightmare if you want to play a silly survival challenge. I do want to just quickly issue this point right here, that a little update for my video talking about which of the custom Superflats is harder. This is now by far the hardest. It just wasn't out when I made that video, so I'll make sure to update that with a little comment to let people know how ridiculous this is, because you can fall in the void at any minute and die, losing everything, but you only really have this many blocks to play with. How far can you go? Don't tempt me into finding out. What you should tempt me into doing, though, is talking about our 5th chapter, because if you look at all of the features from this update, because basically everything added in this update has been something that has been wildly popular for a long time, whether that's the copper golem as a mob vote loser, whether that's the copper armor and the copper tools, something which I've had comments going back literally months on the channel. I just tried to find the vaguely positive ones, but I found one literally every month or so, going back years and years now, with even this comment here saying, it's from 6 months ago now, that 2 of the top 5 ideas that they could do if they want to listen is to give more uses for existing mobs, adding more mob vote losers and biomes one by one, and also giving more uses to copper. Mojang has nailed 2 of the top 5 asks from the community in one fell swoop in just our first set of features in Drop Free 2025. That is absolutely shocking if you ask me, but it is very, very impressive and does show something that I think is really worth bringing up now, that Minecraft is on a big fan service arc. I know fan service has a particular meaning to anime connoisseurs, but I really think that they are getting incredibly good at listening to the community, maybe even to the point of like fault, because now instead of seeing like a popular idea be suggested and Mojang going, no, you don't understand why that can't be added, now it seems like basically every popular idea is bound to be added at some point if Minecraft can come up with a good way to do it. Instead of coming up with their own set of priorities and features, it seems like ever since Caves and Cliffs, we've seen Mojang go heavily down the idea of why not add our most popular features, and so even though copper tools don't make sense, I'd even argue in their current implementation, they barely make sense, Mojang is willing to add them and then work that stuff out later, and I'm sure we're going to see more tweaks based on community feedback. This is a very good thing, and I think that it is something worth mentioning, that Mojang is listening to the community more, and so if the community says that really what we want is mob vote losers, then maybe they'll add them, but I would say that don't expect them to add the glare just because you think they will. I think they want to add something that actually gives some real value, and that is why, to round up my thoughts, the Rascal, the Crab, the Tough Golem, even the Isolager or the Moobloom, I think that lots of these mobs are things that would fall into the category of things like bundles or the Copper Golem, where they would just immediately make people happy, which seems to be where Mojang is aiming right now, and I've got to say, really killing it. And honestly, to conclude on this, if you really tie everything in together, I think that is the biggest ultimate point. They're being very good at communicating. When they have something accidentally showing, they say, oh yeah, that's our bad. When they have a big drop that they say is coming out in summer, they release it literally 5 days before summer starts on the the astronomical calendar, and actually, like just 20 days after they say on the other calendar. Instead of pushing deadlines to the very last minute, Mojang is getting way ahead of them, and I think that when looking at this week's beta and preview for Bedrock, you really get that on an insane scale, because Mojang really set our expectations as low as they could be. They're like, yeah, it's going to be a big holiday, so don't expect to see anything too big soon, and then boom, wow, all of the copper tools, copper armor, as well as a copper golem and copper chests. I'm amazed by how much came out of nowhere, and honestly, it makes me excited to follow the full drop. I feel like this is a great thing for Mojang to be doing, and I feel like this is the biggest vindication of the drop system ever, but it does mean, just keep in mind that our dreams of 1.22 coming anytime too soon might be just a bit dashed, unless they're working on it in the background at the same time. But again, I would just say that the biggest and most exciting thing to follow is going to be the full drop. We have probably just a couple of months till it comes out, so obviously we're going to be seeing most of those features over the next 5, 6, 7 previews, and obviously right here is where you can stay tuned if you want to see those previews, because I am excited and I hope that you are too. And if you're not, then did you know yesterday Mojang celebrated horses being in Minecraft for 12 years, and they shared this fun image of the blue villager? Is this a hint? No, it's just fun marketing art, but it's something I wanted to share anyway. Speaking of marketing, I'd like to do just a tiny bit of the video, because I released Toycat's Toolkit recently and it's been really great. A lot of people have got their hands on it. However, I know a lot of people hate the idea of inflationary increases, and so what I would like to do is offer you the exact opposite. I'm going to be a little bit populist myself here and say, guess what everyone, you can now get Toycat's Toolkit for 660 Minecoins. It's not a short-term sale with a big flashy number telling you have to buy it right now, but instead it'll be set to 660 for the foreseeable future, and also the first update should be coming out in August. I'm very excited for what's going to be inside there, and let's just say this copper update has inspired things a little bit, and that will be included for free for anyone who gets it now. So Toycat's Toolkit, now is the best time to get it. Speaking of best time to get things, I'm going to head out because it's a nice day here, and I hope that you do too. Or, I don't know, stay inside or play Minecraft. But whatever you want to do. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll see you for round review tomorrow, okay? Goodbye.